Once again, I am back with the most dangerous woman in Bigfootery, known as Lady K. How you doing, Lady K?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Had a bit of fallout from our first coffee talk, didn't we?
I know, there's some hate out there.
Yeah. Some people told me that they thought I used to be intelligent.
Oh my goodness, you have...
I'm an idiot now, apparently. Now that I'm telling them the truth.
They can't handle the truth.
When I was telling them what they believed, I was an
Then
intelligent...
You're brilliant.
Right until I started discovering stuff. I never even bothered telling them about Sideways Time. That would have really brought the haters out.
No.
What they don't know is that I've had quite a bit of experience with these UFOs and aliens, and I've finally started to put the two of them together. I had a really strong barrier against the two of them.
You did.
Because I left the UFO world because I was frustrated with it, and I thought, I'm going to go after Bigfoot because it's physical.
Do you know how crazy that sounds to me? As a person who formerly didn't believe in any of this stuff, thought it was all nonsense, and it made no sense. Well, how can you believe in one thing but not another? I mean, it was all nonsensical to me in the beginning.
I don't really have an explanation for it other than there must be a really strong internal filter, and even though I'm not a real super social person,
right?
I am a human being, so we all accept the pressure from our peers, don't we?
Yeah, I guess so.
We want to be accepted, so if everybody is like, oh, that's crazy talk, you get enough negative feedback, most of us will stop talking about it. I mean, Whitley Strieber talks about that. He was a really successful author, extremely successful author, and then he wrote the Communion series of books. I think there was 3 of them, and ended up going through bankruptcy. And
wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, I think he was a little bitter about it because he thought he was trying to do a service to humankind by saying, hey guys, guess what?
Yeah, you'd think people would want to know.
Yeah.
You would think that.
Yeah, there's multi-dimensional creatures coming into your bedroom at night.
No.
No, we don't want to hear that. No, thank you. You're crazy.
People don't want to hear about climate change or things happening with the earth. They don't want to hear bad news or something scary. Let's keep it, everything's fine.
Willie did say in one of his podcasts that people do not want to know the truth. I said before in our earlier podcast that these creatures have the ability to impart cover memories, to erase your memory, to seemingly fabricate a reality that we can't tell if it's real or not.
Right. Because they use elements of like things that seem very, very real, that you just know, and it's like it's just really crazy. It's like they're constantly giving clues, but they're not going to give the whole story.
Yeah, they have their way of communicating is multi-layered and rarely directly to the point. It takes you a while to ponder what they're getting at.
Yeah, but I love it because I like puzzles.
Your interaction with them has been different than most. So I keep saying that they have a different time, and I don't know exactly how that works, but I think that they're operating with like a sideways time. I know people think that's ridiculous, like there's only one time, but we experience a linear time, and quantum mechanics tells us that there are infinite possibilities. Thus, things that we think only exist as objects actually have a wave-like function to them. And when things exist in a wave format, they're distinctly different from objects in that an object only can impart into one point.
Yeah.
If you take a plane, a point is only on one point there, where a wave will cross the whole plane. In other words, in a 2D world, a wave can have an infinite length to it, whereas the object doesn't. So that seems to be in conflict with each other. If you have objects that have wave-like functions, and to us objects appear to be in one point at one point in time, but yet a wave would encompass an infinite series of points in that same series of time. That's what I'm referring to as sideways time. The sideways time are those infinite points that never coalesced into our awareness. Like, I know this is probably pretty heady, pretty like whoosh over the head.
No, actually, I'm beginning to get it after all this time a little bit.
The general idea that you have to wrap your head around is that we believe that we experience events that have not yet occurred. Like the future is not predictable. At least not if you get very far into the future. And it's kind of like weather, you can predict today's weather really with high accuracy and tomorrow's weather, but you get down about 10 days and chaos comes in and you don't have much of a prediction model. It's kind of the same idea with the future. The next second, I'm pretty sure that I'll be drinking this coffee, but it's possible that a meteorite hits us and vaporizes the planet. But what quantum mechanics tells us is that both of those scenarios are real. Like any infinite possibility that you could possibly think of does exist on this bell curve, and it goes out to the fringes. It goes back to Einstein postulating that the block universe, where all events that will ever occur, all of time exists in a matrix, and our awareness simply travels through it. You could look at time as like a giant ocean, and you paddle around in it. All those events have occurred. We don't think they've occurred because we haven't experienced them yet. Why would I make such a claim?
I don't know. It's kind of early in the morning to do such things.
Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about this for a while.
Okay.
Remember I told you that Ron Moorhead reported that they heard what sounded like their camp being tore apart, but they went out there and everything was perfectly fine?
Yes.
And then we heard trees fall down, but we couldn't find the trees.
Right.
And then we read about a European wood spirit that makes the sound of trees falling down.
Yes.
So this got me to thinking, amongst other things that these things do, like that they move with paranormal speed.
Yeah.
See, they're moving through our environment quicker than they should be able to. They're not making noises oftentimes.
No.
Sometimes they're not leaving tracks, or, like one guy said, what do you say about all the scat and all the tracks? Well, the vast majority of tracks are faked.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's any legitimate scat. So when somebody comes up with one of these straw man arguments, it's like, I don't really know that that evidence does exist.
Right.
One thing I am sure of, I know these eyewitness reports are happening.
Yeah.
Because I know people, a whole bunch of people. I'm sitting right in front of one that have seen these things.
And again, almost the playful nature of this thing is, it could leave tracks if it wants to. It doesn't have to. It can leave you enough to keep you interested.
Right. Way back there, the apes of, Ape Canyon, where they were through the rocks. Yeah. A lot of people ignore the woo factor that he brings up, but he claimed that they found a single track in the middle of a sandbar that just mysteriously appeared there. See, this is what that filtering process. He reported many woo factors to the Bigfoots, but all people remember are the Bigfoots throwing rocks at the cabin.
They just remember the most dramatic points.
They're ignoring the parts that are unsettling to them.
Right. Like, how does that happen? How can there just be one footprint? That doesn't make sense.
Right. And then somebody wanted to know if I thought the Patterson footage was a guy in a suit, and I said most likely.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a guy in a suit, but knowing what these things are capable of, there's no way in hell one stood around and allowed it itself to be filmed.
I know. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think it looks like a parrot. It looks like a guy in a suit to me. But that's just me.
Well, we could debate this endlessly. It doesn't to me, but...
Okay.
No, I mean, my point is that we went into this, like I said before, with science. Good science is about asking questions, and the question we ask is Bigfoot real? We had something to go on because people were telling us it was real. I mean, we had several people say, hey, this thing is in Maine. It's real. It's huge.
Yeah.
So we went out and we put trail cameras out. We went looking for tracks.
Yeah.
We did our due diligence. We went deep into the forest where nobody else goes, where people haven't gone for 30, 40 years. I mean, we were in areas that are virgin forest where humans may have never walked. I mean, we just didn't go to the state park, step out of our car.
Although we can,
No, you can do that, but what I'm saying is we took it to the extreme. We did like a Survivor Man type of thing. Like, I wanted to get where there was no people. I did not want to be running into people footprints. And what we found were footprints. Giant footprints. Then we started hearing vocalizations, and then we got tree knocks, and then we got boulder smashing. And then we also got UFOs.
Yes, we did.
And very strange spiritual type experiences that evade being put into words.
Yeah.
That we still haven't fully shared with people because they're so weird and it's so difficult to discuss.
I know. And then you get those so supportive people in the Facebook groups.
Well, they're the ones that have not had these experiences.
And they're also, so you have to kind of forgive them for that, but also it's like they're showing what they don't know in those statements. you know, when they're just ready to tear you down, you know. So.
Well, I keep saying that human beings are more interested in being right than having the truth. In other words, they want to be right, but they don't really care if they are right or not.
They would cultivate a sense of curiosity about it. You know, don't just debate it on Facebook. Go out there and try.
So anyways, all this has brought me back to the fact that I think these things can access time in a way that we can't. We are limited. We're the limited ones here. They have access to other realities that we don't. They can do things that we cannot do. And it appears to me that they may be able to perceive time in a way we can't. People might think that's crazy, but there's all kinds of light spectrum that we can't perceive, right, that bees can see and other animals can see shit that we can't see. This is just another thing. This is time, which we really don't have that good of a grasp on.
And there's indications from what I've heard that dogs can see them, sense them.
Oh, the entities?
Yeah. We can't, but they can. What is that? It's obviously there's something within the dog's vision that you know, that they can see and they can.
Well, they definitely do things that somebody I think mistook me saying that I wasn't into the physical aspect of it, that I was talking about these things as if they're ghosts, and they're not ghosts. They have the ability.
That's because I was joking around Ghostbusters. That's all.
Oh.
So that's probably why we got that.
But no, these things, when they appear here, they seem to be physical. But I don't think that they're. This is going to upset some people. But I don't think they're hunting deer. I don't think they're shitting in the woods. They're not dying in the woods. They didn't evolve here, and they're not leaving fossils. And this is what I don't understand how these biologists like Bingernagel can turn around and still think this is a physical creature, because a physical creature engages. Like if these are apex predators, they should be having a population cyclic effect with the things they're preying upon, and we don't see that. We don't see the lynx, snowshoe hare, cyclic thing with Bigfoot. There's nothing. It has no effect on population dynamics. If this thing was a physical creature, we would have gotten trail camera photos of it by now. I mean, people, you have to look at what we've got here. What we're doing is we're trying to take data and squeeze it into a box that it doesn't want to fit into, and we're ignoring what it's telling us. And it's telling us that this thing is strange. And it didn't just become strange. It's always been strange. It's just been people, there's a whole bunch of them online right now that want to turn this into something that it's not. They want to make it physical. They want to be hunters and trackers, and we're going to tag it. And all these big major projects are running on that theme that this is an ape man, a caveman, and that we're going to put it in a box. We're going to.
Can't be done.
I don't think it can be done because they're too advanced.
Right.
I keep saying we're infants here. We're children. We're the ones.
That probably makes people mad.
I don't think people like to think that other things are smarter than them. So anyways, this sideways time, I think they have a way of perceiving the future and also perhaps existing in time to the side of us. In other words, that they can somehow or another, they're able to make sounds to vibrate the air molecules in our reality, yet they don't seem to be here when they're doing it. And like if we're hearing Ron Moorhead heard his camp being tore apart, and he goes out there and it's not tore apart. How did that happen?
Right.
Are they tearing his camp apart in another time, a sideways time where his awareness is not there? See, our resistance to that would be, well, that sideways time doesn't exist, but physics is strongly suggesting to us that it does. And many great physicists have pondered this idea of time not being the way we perceive it. Many of the actions that the alien, UFO, and these Bigfoots are engaged in indicate to me that they have an ability to manipulate time, manipulate space, and that's really where they got the upper hand. I think that's how that they can be where you're going to show up. They know you're going to be there.
They know.
They know.
They know where you're going to be.
They know stuff.
Yeah, you're not sneaking up on them.
No, they're highly perceptive. I guess that's one thing that I think might be a key here. They might have access. They're definitely perceiving stuff that we can't perceive.
Yeah.
And that might be it. We're extremely limited with our perception of time. All right, Zen Yetians, there you go. Bigfoot and sideways time. Discuss.
Discuss.